want to talk to you about tweezers and loupes. There are various types of tweezers and various types of loupes. Some are used for specific purposes and some are not. The first set of tweezers that I want to talk to you about are called the horizontal tweezers. These tweezers are called horizontal because in the blade itself, the lines running across it run horizontal. Hence, they're known as horizontal tweezers. The second set of tweezers are called crisscross blades because in the blade itself, the lines are running left to right and right to left across in a crisscross pattern, which is ideal for use when you're picking up stones holding a table to collet. The third set of tweezers that I want to talk to you about are crisscross tweezers, but they also have a groove in each blade. This is very, very useful when we're handling bigger diamonds, and also particularly when using fancy shaped diamonds, where it allows us to pick it up and hold them very securely. The fourth set of tweezers that I want to talk to you about are called the locking tweezers because it has a locking clamp, which I'm sure you can see moving. It means we can put the gem into the tweezers and clamp it shut and the stone will not fall out. The final set of tweezers that I want to talk to you about are called pearl tweezers. They're called pearl tweezers because they have softer tips and they are very often used by those handling pearls because pearls can damage very easily. But they are used by diamond dealers, particularly when handling very, very big stones which have some weight, because it allows them to put more pressure on the stone to hold it still, but at the same time not threatening the gem in any way. You need to understand that the blades of tweezers come in various thicknesses. And very often, your choice of thickness of blade is determined by the size of the diamonds that you're going to be picking up. In other words, the smaller the stones, the finer the tips of the tweezers that you need to use. How do you know the thickness of the blades? It is very clearly stamped on the blade. This one that I'm actually showing you says medium. If it was a fine, it would say fine. If it was heavy, it would say H, and you also get an extra fine. And it is clearly stamped on the blade. So if you know what you're looking for, you can make your choice of tweezer for your purpose. A good buy would be the medium tweezer because it's very versatile, allows you to pick up fairly large stones and fairly small stones with comfort and ease. You need to know where to hold the tweezers. It would make logical sense to you, the further down the tweezer you hold it, the more the pressure you need to exert. So the trick is to hold the tweezers where the horizontal grooves are. And you will use your first finger and your thumb at that point, which means that, and the other fingers are really just holding the tweezers and to balance them. They're not physically doing any work at all. So remember, hold the tweezers at the top of the horizontal lines that all tweezers have. I'm sure it'll make sense to you to use the hand for your tweezers that you do not write with. In other words, if you are right-handed, your tweezers, like I am, will be in my left hand. If I'm left-handed, I'll put the tweezers in my right hand because I'm going to, at some point, need to make notes. So I need to leave my writing hand free. There are two ways that we need to learn how to pick up a gemstone. The first is so that we can look at the gemstone through the crown. In other words, the way that a gemstone is obviously often set. Or when you're going to look at the stone through the pavilion. The first one I want to describe is picking it up. So we're going to look through the crown of the stone. In other words, we're going to put the stone table down onto a surface, put the blades of the tweezers around the diameter of the stone, and we're going to pick it up and turn it around so that we can see through the table or the crown of the stone. The second method is we push the tweezers underneath the gemstone, close them and pick the stone up, holding it culette to table, which is going to allow us ultimately to be able to view the gemstone through the pavilion, and it's also going to allow us to actually turn the gemstone safely. Let's talk about loupes. What is a loupe? A loupe is a magnification unit that is used by those in the gem industry to look at gems. The first loupe that I want to talk to you about is called a bucket loupe. And this has a very specific use. It is used by those in the factory when they're looking at stones that are being bruted, which means they're being made round, or the stones have been sawn. But because they're being sawn, there's diamond powder coming off them, so which can damage your eye. So what they do is they use what's called a bucket loupe, which means that your eye will be covered and you can go close to what you need to look at with the eye protection. That's what a bucket loupe is for. The second loupe is called a polisher's loupe. It's a very robust unit used mainly by those polishing diamonds in the factory and comes in varying sizes of magnification. Commonly, the polisher's loupe is 7 power. You get 10 powers, you get 20 powers. But I need you to remember this, and I will reinforce it with you again, that the international standard for looking at gemstones, particularly diamonds, is a 10 power loupe. We then have what's called a standing loupe. This loupe is primarily used by those sorting very, very, very small stones, because what they do is they'll have very, very small stones lying on the side, and really all you do is you put it this way, look down over it, and you can move the stones in and out very quickly. It's used when they're looking at half pointers, quarter pointers, 1 pointer stones. The most common loupe, standard 10 power loupe, and I reiterate, remember the standard loupe for all grading of diamonds is 10 power. This happens to be an hexagonal loupe. You get various other loupes. There's another one. It just happens to have a smaller focal point. And there's a really very, very, very small one. It just slips into your pocket. However, this particular loupe is probably the most common one used in the industry worldwide. Remember, the loupe must be in the center of your eye, not so that you're not looking through the corner of your eye. But the other very, very important thing to remember is to keep your other eye open. Do not close it. You may be tempted to do so, but do not, because in fact, what's happening is the brain is having to do two functions. You're telling it to look through the loupe at the tweezers or the gem, and also at the same time, close the other eye. It's got a dual function. You will find that if you leave the other eye open, the brain will automatically ignore it and look through the eye it can actually see through. And it will also mean that you do not get eye strain trying to close your eye, and your muscles on that side of your face will get very tired in a very short period of time. Right, I want to now demonstrate for you how we're actually going to pick up the diamond, look through the crown using the loupe. So you're going to pick the diamond up. Remember, when you pick it up, always pick it up with your palm downward, because you're going to pick it up and turn the stone towards you. Pick up your loupe, join your hands, and bring it up to your eye. You can move the tweezers to get it into focus, and you will see that you've got a beautiful picture at 10 power looking through the crown of the diamond. I'm now going to demonstrate to you how you pick up the diamond table to culette and look at it with the loupe. Pick up my tweezers, put it underneath the table, put the culette in the center of the blades, and turn it so that I can look through the pavilion. And I'll pick up my loupe, join my hands again to keep it stable, otherwise you will not be able to keep the focus. Take it up to my eyes, and I can move the tweezers to get a perfect focus. And while we're at it, I can also move the stone around and look at the varied facets on the gem. That's the advantage of being able to hold the table to culette in crisscross tweezers.